a few minutes for the other persons to join, since it's just three of us here. Nobody else has joined in. Okay, all right. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Single Hangout Show, proudly sponsored by H2H. And so we're going to be talking about overcoming traumatic relationships. Yeah, so we have a lot in store to learn tonight. So I'm going to learn about traumatic relationships and how we can overcome them if we do find ourselves in situations whereby we've like had experiences like this. And tonight we have a very beautiful speaker on ground who is going to be taking us through this wonderful journey. Yeah, so please just give me a moment. I'm going to be having with us Benjamin K. I'm so happy to have you on board here with us. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. And I'm ready. I'm ready to hear what you have in store for us. I'm ready. Please, who's ready? Who's ready to hear from her tonight? All right, Ma. Thank you so much for gracing our presence this evening. I hope you can hear me. Yeah, that's the excitement. I can see Prince. That's nice. All right, so I'm going to be throwing in some questions that you'd be giving us some into. I hope you can hear me.
Yes,
Hope
I
I'm
can.
audible. All right, yeah. So I'm going to be training some questions that you'll be sharing some insights and into how actually these experiences. So first on the list, I'm going to be, can someone be in a romantic relationship without realizing it? And what are the subtle red flags?
Okay. First and foremost, good evening, everyone. I'm glad to be here. This is something I'm really passionate about, especially because I have been a victim of it, and I'm a very strong survivor. Okay, so yes, um, you said the different whether somebody can be in a traumatic relationship.
In a traumatic relationship, yeah, without realizing it. And what are the subtle red flags?
Of course, you can be in a traumatic relationship and not even know. Why? Because a lot of people normalize trauma, and I noticed that it is a thing. It has become a thing. It's now even very common. A lot of people normalize trauma, and that is because they sometimes it's because they grew up in a traumatic environment, or they have experienced several levels of trauma. So trauma doesn't look, for instance, you have people who say that they can't get married or be in a relationship with a guy that doesn't beat them. That's because they grew up seeing their father beat their mother, and they were probably schooled consciously or unconsciously that that is the only way to keep a woman in line. That is the way to hold your home together. That is the way to express love. That is called tough love. So they grew up with trauma, normalizing it and tagging it as something normal. They'll say, oh, this is tough love or something. So, of course, it's very, very possible. And sometimes people don't even know what a healthy relationship looks like or feels like. They've never been in one. They didn't grow up in a healthy environment. So they don't even know what, or they've been through cycles of trauma or traumatic relationships, and they've become comfortable in it. So it's something they are now used to. It's a comfortable environment for them. So yes, people can be in traumatic relationships and not know. And then how do you know that you are in a traumatic relationship? The first thing I'd say is
Yeah.
feeling unsafe due to the actions of the other partner. So you are feeling you start having, you notice that you enter this relationship, you are probably not an insecure person normally, and then you enter this relationship and you start feeling unsafe with this person. You start feeling that sense of insecurity with this person. And it's not based on something internal, it's based on the actions of the other partner. For instance, this person always says things to you that makes you uncomfortable, that makes you feel like you don't worth anything, that makes you feel, and then you start to feel unsafe. You start to feel like, there's in a healthy relationship, you have one of the markers of a healthy relationship is safe space. That safe space. So you are not afraid, you are not afraid to pour your heart out. You're not afraid to be who you are. You are not afraid to express yourself to that person. You are not afraid to tell the person things about yourself. You feel safe. Okay, there's the feeling of unsafety that comes from internal insecurities. I'm not talking about that. So you notice that you are feeling unsafe based on the actions of the other person. Now, there was something that used to happen while I was in that traumatic space. So this guy, he would just call me out of the blues, and then just talking, Christian guys are you. So of course, there was that.
But
Yes, so you know the feeling. So you want to
yeah,
please
I
him,
feel you.
do everything right by him. With blues, not we did not see nothing. Words that come from you, and not because you think there are reasons to trust them to distrust you, but this is what the person brings to the table every time. There is lack of trust in a relationship. You can't trust them, they can't trust you. Oh, that is a very toxic space, because healthy relationships thrive on trust. If you cannot trust, in fact, that's the bedrock of any relationship. I don't know how people do relationship without trust, but it's very funny. So let me tell you, I'm going to
Yeah.
be using this example a lot because it stands out for me, and I think it will help us really relate with this. So this guy, if he calls me and I don't pick up on the first ring, let's say, or even if I pick up on the first ring, it just delays a little. Like maybe just when the phone is about to cut, I pick up a call. He's going to say, "Who is there with you?" There's somebody there with you. That's why you refuse to pick my call. And it's crazy. Like, I'm like, why do you think why did you not think that, oh, something was happening, I was busy or something, I couldn't take the call? Why do you not think that I forgot my phone or something? You just assume that there's a guy with me. That's why I'm not picking up my call. So that's the very serious sign of
Recording
um
in progress.
then number three is diminishing instead of growing. So you find yourself that you are in you enter a relationship and you start diminishing. You start diminishing in self-esteem, you start diminishing in your career, you start diminishing all around. You see that that relationship is having an unhealthy impact on your life as a person. You are just going down. You're just going down. Everything, your looks, your appearance, everything is just diminishing. If you look closely, you'd realize that there's toxicity. And the reason why is that love helps people glow and blossom. True love, healthy spaces, healthy
Yeah.
environment. Your mental health is thriving, your emotional space is so, in fact. Then I'll just run through the last two. Then you have one-sided commitment. You see that you are the one giving everything, or the other person is the one giving everything. It's not both of you are not jointly investing into the relationship. That's a toxic space. That's a very traumatic environment. You would leave that relationship feeling spent and used and abused, and you start having resentment towards the person for sacrifices that you made on your own volition, by your own self. So when there's one-sided commitment, it's not stable. Then when there are lies, of course, this one is everybody should know it. When there are lies, no reason, for no reason, you just keep lying. You realize that your partner is lying or you are lying. It's breeding trauma. It's giving trauma. It's going to break your trust bank. Now, when you say, this person has trust issues, most times it's because they've been in a place where lies are very, easy to come by and all of that. So those are some of the ways you can perceive that you are in a traumatic environment.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's
Wow. Thank you so much for that. That was very insightful. Know, I could actually relate to one of the points you dropped on the next minute is trying to pick a fight because I think I once had someone like that too, and it was very hectic. It was a very draining experience, I have to say. It was really.
yeah. So
All
sorry.
right. So moving on. How does trauma bonding keep people stuck in unhealthy relationships?
Okay. Trauma bonding is an attachment to an abusive or toxic partner with either a hope or promise of something in the future. So it's that attachment. Somebody is being toxic. Somebody is abusing you in a certain way. Somebody being is giving you trauma, and then you are bonded to the person, just like the name is called, trauma bonding. You are still bonded to the person. You are still in a particular light they call it Stockholm syndrome. Is that you're just you find it difficult to detach from your attacker, from your abuser, from somebody that is breeding toxicity around you. Why? Because of the hope or promise of something that is not currently on ground. So you're like, you're thinking he's gonna change. Oh, she's not always gonna be like this. It's because of what happened to her. That's why she's like this. It's time will heal her wounds, and then she's going to get better. He's going to, when he makes it financially, he's going to behave better. It's because of the tough space he is in right now. He's struggling with his career. That is why he's been toxic to me. He's doing so. You keep making excuses. You keep having the hope of something. That's the hope. Then there's a part of promise. The promise that he keeps coming to tell you that he's going to change. Oh, I'm so sorry. I hit you. I'm so sorry. I bad is going to happen to that person, or the person is going to start to malfunction, or you feel responsible for that person. So that's how trauma bonding can keep you in a toxic space. That hope or promise, or the hope or promise, or guilt. Yes, that's how that trauma bonding keeps you stuck in unhealthy relationships.
Wow, wow. That was as you're talking, like I could fully relate to what you were saying, like fully. And sometimes you just find yourself in a situation whereby you can't just walk out. Even though it's just this, I don't know what this force from above, or it cannot even be from above, from below, that just keeps you in that one place. Like it takes the special grace of God for one to be able to like, really pull themselves out. Because it is one thing that I have observed is that in you even sticking around in such situations, you're equally, in fact, you're not, the person is drowning and equally drowning you at the same time. And sometimes you don't even get to see it early. It is later on that you now get to start observing things like that. Wow. Like I can relate 100%. Thank you so much. Yeah. So, how does relationship trauma differ from other forms of emotional or psychological trauma?
Okay, of course we have different types of trauma, but you see, this, you can actually experience trauma based on rape, from childhood abuse, you can have maybe loss of a dear one in a very traumatic way, like sudden death or something like that. You can have different, or maybe MMM do you strong thing, those
Wow, wonderful.
that is a form of trauma. I don't know who sent you the message, but anyways, listen, I don't judge. But what I'm trying to say, that's a form of trauma, okay? Those are other types of trauma. But you see this relationship trauma in you are investing, you see MMM, you're investing your money, you're investing your finances, a bit of your emotions. But you see relationship, you're investing everything. Of course, if you're the type that does relationship right, investing everything. Your mind, your spirit, your finances, your emotions. You are giving them access to your past, you're investing your present, you are trusting them with your future. You're giving them everything. It's a deep space for you to be that connected. It's like you are giving them a privileged space. Money or every other thing, even your family members may not occupy that space because your family members have access to your past because they've been with you. They are there with you in your present. But somebody that you're trusting with your future, you want to spend the rest of your life with this person. So you are throwing in a lot. And for people who do relationship wrongly, you are even giving your body when you are not even married to them. You are giving your body, and so too much investment. So when the other person pulls out, it's like they are pulling out with a chunk of you. That they are pulling out with a large part of you. So it involves too much. There is too many emotions. There is trauma bonding because if it's a family member that does you bad, you're like, okay, I'm just gonna give my space. I'm just gonna give distance. Or if you have experienced trauma with maybe loss, you try to heal from the memories of the person and all of that. But when it's relationship, you are dealing with feelings of betrayal. Yet you still have this part of you that wishes this person comes back. That's crazy. Like, that is crazy. You are wishing that things went differently. You are wishing and hoping, yet you are having resentment against this person. You are angry. That's a complex myriad of emotions. So it feels like you are floating. It feels like you full and you feel it's a lot. Okay, for relationship traumas, it has multifaceted effect, so many effects. Sometimes you see it. Let me tell you some experience trauma. It was really traumatic for me, and I started stammering. So I've been a speaker for quite a long time, and I'm a lawyer also. So of course, the combination. There should be no stammering in my in my in my skill set, how do I put it? You understand what I'm saying? There should be nothing like
Yeah,
stammering. Well, after that experience, I started stammering. I my confidence to in utterance, like in the ability to speak and speak clearly. So I noticed I would always stammer. I hosted several events, both online.
so the point I'm trying to make is the point I'm trying to make is like there's actually a connection from your own personal traumas that now comes to form the relationship trauma. I don't know if you understand what I'm trying to say.
Of course, definitely, definitely.
Yeah,
The dysfunction that people experience in relationships as a result of the dysfunction in their personal space. Now, there is no bad relationship. There is no bad marriage. There are only bad people or people with unresolved traumas or people that have not healed from past wounds or people who were not properly groomed. So this one is coming with their own trauma. This person is coming with their own trauma, and then they just
yeah,
throw it all into this new thing that they are trying to build. Of course, you don't expect any building to stand with defective materials.
yeah,
So
yeah. That's
that's what
yeah. Thank you
happens.
so much for that. Yeah. So Now to my next questions. How do you now differentiate between how do you differentiate between normal grief and unresolved trauma?
Okay, normal grief and unresolved trauma. First, I
Yeah.
like to say normal grief can metamorphose into unresolved trauma
Wow.
depending on the circumstances of the event or the cause of that grief. Okay, if you don't heal properly, if it is not properly handled, if normal grief is not properly handled, it can metamorphose into unresolved trauma over a period of time. But here's how you differentiate something that is still in the stage of normal grief and something that is unresolved trauma. I'd like to let me classify them in three stages. They differ in time, in nature, and in response. Okay, so in time, normal grief is usually over a shorter span of time, while unresolved trauma is it's usually prolonged. It's usually somebody can have a grief now or something that causes them grief, something that causes them trauma, and if it's not properly handled at that time, over a period of maybe 10, 15 years, 20 years, 30 years, some people are in their old age and still suffering trauma from their childhood. Okay, so once it has exceeded the normal time limit for grief, for instance, let's use the loss of a loved one. For instance, you lose a loved one, and oh, okay, no, let's bring it down to let's narrow it down to relationships. You have a traumatic experience in a relationship, and let's imagine the relationship ends. You are supposed to at least share 3 months of issue to mourn that relationship. You are mourning that relationship 3 months, 4 months, a year,
3 months is
2 years.
even long, safe.
That's a lot. I'm even saying 3 months, but people do that are very, very emotional. If it's me,
Yeah,
if it's something that is small, I mean, by the next week, I should be good. I feel like it's
exactly.
okay. Well, if it's beginning to span into years and all of that, you know that it's something is wrong. There's something that you need to deal with. I had a relationship that ended and we talked. I went to see him. We went out and we had a conversation and we were good. The relationship ended. Did he pay me? Yes, but it
Life
has
goes
ended. It has
on.
life goes on. It was not something I spent time grieving over. But you see this particular traumatic relationship I'm talking about. Hey, you guys, it was years before I could recover fully from that. It was years because I kept saying, I mean, Coach K now, forget that thing. I don't, emotions is my thing. I juggle it as I like. You guys, I didn't attend to that thing the way I was supposed to attend to it, and it spanned too long, affecting different areas of my life. So yeah, time. Then in terms of nature, the intensity of normal grief is way less than intensity of trauma. So normal grief is like this. It's usually accumulated. It just comes and it's so deep and it's just intense and all of that. But over time it starts to fade. But you see, trauma over time it increases in intensity. That moment it happened, you may not feel when things ended with between me and this guy. I was still trying to send messages of peace, that kind of okay, well, it ended. I'm sorry for the part I played and all of that. By the next month, when I think about him, I'm like, this guy dey craze. Sorry for my language, but you get what I'm saying.
No, it's allowed, it's allowed.
They worry this guy. So now me, this guy they talk. Oh. So when it ended, it was way less. I mean, then I was not even having all of these intense emotions. But at that point in time, as time was going, instead of it to fade, it was increasing in intensity. The emotions, when I sleep and I mistakenly dream about anything relating to that event, it's crazy for me. And then, yes, I started to have a lot of dreams about it. and I will see him and I'll wake up and I will be panting and I'll be angry. And that's unresolved trauma. You need to deal with it. That's not normal grief anymore. That's not normal grief. So also the last one is in response. How do you respond to it? When you think back over that grief, that event or that trauma, are you searching for memories or you're searching for pain? Are you angry or it's something you can just look back over and just pass and just, oh,
Yeah.
this happened? Is it something that you are learning from or is something you are still angry at? Is it something that has taught you life lessons? Have you been able to separate the person from the event and the emotions? Are you able to look at it from an outside view? So it's different when you're looking at it from an inside view. Oh, me, I did this. This was what he did to me. That's from still at a more intense level. When you are looking at it from an outside point of view, you are having a holistic view. You are recognizing your responsibilities, the part you had to play, your naivety or your overtrustingness or other things. You're just trying to learn from it when you look over it and not look for sometimes you think about, do you know how long I plotted revenge? Hey, you guys, I'm just trying to be real.
Omo.
I plotted revenge. I thought about the many things I could do. I was looking for every opportunity to get back at him. That shows that there is still an unresolved trauma. Unfortunately, you see that person that you're plotting revenge for is living their best lives, and you are just there killing yourself, thinking and traumatizing yourself further.
So
Okay,
true.
so it's of course the level of your response to the event after it has happened over a period of time will now show whether it's just in a stage of grief or it has moved into unresolved trauma.
Yeah, that's so true. That's so true. There's a saying that I don't know how they put it again. When you're angry at someone or getting angry at someone is like drinking poison. Or sorry, harboring anger against someone is like drinking poison and then expecting the other person to die. So I'm guessing like this is just
Exactly.
a play out of the whole situation you get. A play out of the scenario rather. Yeah, so my next question would be what are the dangers of rushing into a new relationship after trauma?
Okay. The dangers of moving into a relationship after trauma is that you would one of the major dangers, this one, this one is serious. One of the major dangers is that you are carrying old baggage into something new. Now, Jesus said something in the Bible. For those of us who are believers, we can relate. He said something. He said, you cannot pour old wine, or rather, new wine into old wine skin. Now, that's what happens when you have unresolved trauma and you are rushing into another relationship. You see that thing that is unresolved, it will play out in your new relationship. I always advise people to go for healing, seek healing and wholeness before they get into a relationship. Now, a relationship is not it's not supposed to be, it's not meant, people say, oh, my better half or my other half. Mm-mm. A relationship is not meant for two half people. It's meant for two whole people. It is one plus one equals one, not half plus half equals one. Mm-mm. One plus one. So when you say my better half, that's just a myth. You are supposed to be a complete human being. So that completeness, that wholeness can only occur when you have healed from past trauma. What happens is that you now begin to um carry that distrust that you had in your previous relationship into your new relationship. You now start seeing your partner like that person. So no matter how good your partner is, you will still a part of you will still hold back from giving because you are afraid of experiencing that same trauma. In the process of healing, you'll see that you are able to identify some patterns, you're able to identify why certain things happened, you're able to make sense of the event. But if you don't heal, you will not be able to make sense of the event. So you will just be carrying all the emotions. You see all those that model of emotions that happened, that you had, that you have kept aside, you will carry it and it will explode in your face in a new relationship. And then another thing is that you risk falling into the same cycles. You risk getting into the same cycles of trauma because you have not been able to identify why it happened the way it happened, the your how you enabled the situation, how you could have avoided certain things, how you could have done certain things right. So this was one thing I picked out of my traumatic experience, and I realized that it was a thing. It was a thing that was always attracting traumatic people. Let's say traumatic people, people with trauma tendency around me, was that I usually, as a lady, I would usually express my like to them too early. So it makes me look desperate. It makes me look like I am needy. So before they even say anything, I don't show you say, because I'm a very plain person. I'm very easygoing. I'm very down to earth. I want to just why do we have to stress each other? Which one be you go toast me? I will say no, toast again, no, toast. Very early on in the relationship, you just make it very obvious that you are interested and you really want something. So that was a toxic pattern from my end. It was something that was attracting toxicity to me. So it was something I was able to learn when I sat down to really heal from this experience, when I sat down to evaluate what happened and how things played out. So it now helped me not to get into that toxic cycle again. So my next relationship led into marriage because I did not do that foolish thing again. I was patient enough to know and watch the person and to know if this is what I really wanted before I went in, before I expressed that level of interest in him. So if you don't heal properly, you would start getting into, you risk getting into toxic cycles. So just jump into a relationship after a traumatic experience.
Oh, oh, that's very sad. Okay, so as you were talking, something a thought came into my head. What about those people that say they believe that there are certain relationships that can heal them? Because I know I've heard something like that. People saying that they were had some experiences, had some traumatic experiences, and then when they found themselves in another relationship, they were able to heal as a result of the kind of partner they had. So, does this is this kind of like a counter? Is there are there cases whereby if you actually have a traumatic experience, when you enter into a new relationship, maybe not so long after that, but maybe the environment, the person you're in a relationship with is kind of like how do I put it, conducive, and gives you that, even nurtures you to heal. Do you get, like, is that a thing? Is it a thing?
Okay, I understand where they are coming from because certain people can love you into your healing. However, no relationship is not a tool to heal you. Relationship is not you're not supposed to bank on a relationship to heal you. Now, there are certain people that can love you towards your healing. However, it is very risky for both you and the other person that is trying to love you into your healing. Now, if you're that person trying to love somebody into their healing, you just be ready for the heat that comes with it. Be ready for the heat that comes with it. You are going to be loving and feeling spent because this person is going to drain you. You are going to be pouring too much into the person and you are going to start feeling drained. But if you can weather it out, fine. But just know that it is not your relationship that will heal the person. It is your love is meant to guide the person towards the place of healing. So if you just feel like you're just going to be loving the person, loving the person, loving the person, and then one day some miracle will happen and the person will just change, that's a lie. It doesn't happen that way. What happens is that you are creating an enabling environment for the person to now take a reflective stance on that issue, reflect over it, and properly heal, be able to draw out what, and it's difficult in a relationship because the person does not feel comfortable talking with you, their new partner, about their old partner, or you are beginning to have some emotions. You're beginning to feel traumatized by the person's trauma, and yet you are in a relationship. It's a lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot. So it can happen that you get into a relationship that pushes you towards healing, but it is too risky. It is always better that you heal first on your own before you get into a relationship. So no matter how good that other person is, they will begin to take some hits from your own trauma, which is not good. So you finish healing from your own trauma, then it will be their turn to start healing from their own trauma. So
So
a
true.
lot
They
of
become traumatized. Oh my
now
God.
you are bringing distrust into the relationship. You're bringing, so that relationship may even go bad before they are able to love you to the point of healing, because it takes a lot of time for them to do that. If they have to be the ones to love you into the healing, it takes a lot of time. So just heal on your own, and then you don't, at that point, you don't owe anybody your healing, in quote. Like, you have been able to heal by yourself, because that too is a it's a gateway for abuse. That too, because you have put your emotional healing in the hand of another person. By the time those people now provide to you what you think is healing, you now become trauma bonded to them. If anything goes wrong and those people start to abuse you, you cannot identify, because you are trauma bonded to them. You start feeling guilty if you have to leave them, because you feel like they were the reason why. You see the cycle, you just perpetuate the cycle. So it's usually better to heal on your own before you get into any other relationship. Don't stress
Yeah.
somebody's child.
Very true. Very, very true. Very true. I was scrolling on Instagram and I saw a lady. She did a video and she was like, I will not accept you the way you are. I cannot spend
Mm-hmm.
time to be working on myself and then you will come and give me a headache. So yes, it's so
Wrong with your
important.
battle.
Exactly, yeah. So it's very important that we actually heal before, bringing someone into our life, so we don't end up scarring them too or pouring our pain on them. Yeah. So moving on to my next question. In your line of work, how do you help survivors separate their true self from their wounded self shaped by trauma?
Okay. That um that thing called wounded self. It means, I'm taking it to mean that it's it's a person that is wounded, right? Like, you're talking about because yourself, you are never wounded. You just have experiences that are toxic or are bad. Your original self that God created cannot be tampered with. You can always go back to that person. Okay, so these experiences make you, it's your psychology that changes. It's your belief system about yourself. It's your idea of yourself that is wounded. Not
Okay, so it's
exactly.
an identity issue, more like an identity problem.
Exactly. You begin to have an identity problem. So most times, what I experienced, I saw that how I even started perceiving that this thing is really toxic and traumatic. I saw that I was losing too much confidence in myself. I began to see myself as a shadow of the original person that I have always been, that God has made me to be. I started shifting away from that thought. Like, you are thinking about yourself less than you actually are. So, have you lost your God given abilities? No. Have you lost your gifts and your talents, your essence? No. What is happening is that your mind is being reprogrammed. Your mind is being taught to think otherwise. Your mind is being it's like they are reprogrammed, they are scripting something in your mind now. Don't think that you are that super excellent person. No, you are not up to that. You are worse than that. In fact, you are being managed. In fact, you are this and that. And so your self-esteem is dying, your view of yourself is changing, and all of that. That is what people now refer to as a wounded self, the caricature of the person that you have created in your mind based on your experiences around you. So what we do is, the way that your mind was reprogrammed to believe something else about yourself, is the way we reprogram your mind back to where you are coming from. Okay, so it's a program, is a process of reprogramming, is cognitive reprogramming. So we are rewiring your mind in a way to begin to see yourself in the way you are actually meant to see yourself. So what we do is that we begin to remind you of who you are. We begin to tell you what is a lie and what is true. Now, the only way to cure a lie is to tell the person the truth. Yeah, it
Yeah.
and that actually worked for me. When I saw I was beginning to deteriorate so much in essence and in my God-given abilities, I began to remind myself. So in the mornings, this was what I did for myself. So in the mornings, I would dress up early hours of the morning, like 5:30, 6. I would dress up sporty in a sporty way to go and jog. And as I'm jogging, I would plug in my ears this song, You Say I Am Loved When I Am Falling Short, and all of that. I just put it in my ear.
Yeah.
Reminds me that you are not your experience, you are not the event, you are not the trauma, you are not another person's actions cannot redefine you. God is the one that defines you. You cannot be redefined by someone else's words. And those songs just keep playing in my ears as I'm jogging. And as I'm jogging, I'm reminding myself this is who you are. And I did that for quite a while. So that was a process of reprogramming my mind. Let me tell you what happened after that. After I noticed as I was doing that, I started getting myself back. And one day, this guy, that what he does is he will just ghost me for some time and then get back into my space. You know how people feel like they're so entitled to your space, like they can come in, walk in anytime they like, and waltz out anytime they please. And so that was the period of the ghosting, is to keep me in check so that I don't think I'm too important. That's their game. Don't worry, I have a book coming up that teaches on how people work. But that's that for another another day. So he was in one of those ghosting mode, and that was when that thing triggered, and then I was doing it. Oga just chatted me one day because so I started posting, I started looking good in my pictures and all of that. Because are you dating somebody now? I'm like, so he touched you. So he noticed that I was beginning to thrive outside of him. And he was surprised that hey, I know this girl is not coming from me. I know this person is not happy because of me. This person must be dating somebody else. They didn't know that he didn't know that I was beginning to get myself back. So it's a system of reprogramming, re-engineering your mind to believe the truth and not the lie. To unlearn the lie and relearn the truth. So that's what we do for people. It's a whole process which I cannot explain everything here, but I just gave you a summary
Yeah.
of how.
Yeah, you said something about, becoming the person you were, or like something like that. But I wanted to ask, is it really possible, like after experiencing a traumatic and like having a traumatic event now, out and both within relationship, like trauma in general, is it really possible for you to get yourself back, like to become that person you used to be? Is that really possible? Because I feel like there's a certain way you will see life in, but there's no going back from there. Like you may heal, oh, but your eye don't open. You get so like, is it actually possible to get back to that point?
Okay, so you like I said earlier, your true self um is never damaged. Okay, what we have is damaged ideologies. Okay, so experiences of life actually serve to enlighten you and make you learn. Person no fit run me street again like that guy. Like it's impossible. I can smell abuse from a mile away. I do a lot of premarital counseling, and I have this kind of conversations with a lot of people, and I'm able to sense that this you are in a toxic space. There's this particular couple that I handled their issue recently. They were dating, and immediately they started dating. They didn't tell me on time. They are like they are accountable to me, and they didn't tell me on time. And when they finally told me, I was like, this cannot work. I didn't tell them, oh, but I just told myself this cannot work. Why? Because I could recognize the trauma from a mile away. So life will teach you a lot of things. Trauma will open your eyes and destroy the spell of naivety. If you handle it properly, you will come out stronger. Now, this is how I see trauma. I'm grateful for the trauma I experienced because it has taught me a whole lot and placed me at a vantage position to be able to handle a lot of things with toughness. Okay, I can know and perceive. And there were times where a guy can just tell me, "Oh, you are so beautiful and I'm falling for you because compliments, compliment me, hey God, I don't blow for this life." But now I've learned better. I've learned, but so that's what trauma does to you. So it does not damage who you originally are. It only damages your idea of yourself. So you can actually heal thoroughly. You are not going back to that naive person. No. You are just going back to the knowledge of who you are. Or if you've never had knowledge, you are being groomed or programmed to know who you actually are and live out that essence. But you are coming with this time around, you are coming with the wealth of experience. Now, these things are like a forge. It's like fire that forges the sword. So you go through that fire and you come out stronger, you come out neater, you come out more equipped to handle life. So that's what trauma does for you if handled properly. So of course that does not mean you are going back to your naive, innocent self, or to take away the scars of, okay, this person, if for instance of somebody that was raped, it will not undo the rape, but it would put you in a better position to be able to handle other people or other situations and stuff like that. So it's not as if it's erasing everything. Healing does not erase everything. It places you in a position of power rather than defeat. It makes you a victor rather than a victim. So now you are a survivor with strength. You are not a helpless victim. No.
Yeah, okay. Thank you so much for clarifying that. Yeah, thank you. So, what are the steps that one can take to heal from betrayal trauma or recover from a traumatic relationships?
Sorry, can you come again
Traumatic
with that?
relationship one can
Can you come?
take to heal from. All right, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, of course, I can hear you now.
All right. I said, what are the steps that one should take to heal from betrayal trauma or recover from a traumatic relationship?
Okay. The first, what happens when you have a wound, a physical wound? What happens is that they first open it up, right? They open it up. Now, I would always
Yeah.
say, I will always say to people that the first step to healing a wound is to open it up. I don't know how many of you are following that series, Just Us Girls. There is one character in that series that stood out for me. Ame. I noticed that her major problem was that she was always bottling things. She kept keeping. She would always cover it up, cover it up, cover it. No matter how you ask, no matter, so everybody around her knew something was wrong, but she wasn't saying anything, and she would always pretend like everything is fine. In that pretend, she got into uh alcoholism. She got into, in fact, a lot of things. I can't even go ahead. She got into a toxic relationship, just looking for an escape. She got into a lot of things and eventually tried committing suicide. God just saved her by a hair's breadth, but she tried committing suicide. That's what happens when you cover. So the first step to healing is for you to open up, is for you to open up. You need to open up that wound. Some of you say, I beg, I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to think about it. I just want it. It's past. It's past. It's not past. So let bygone be bygone. Bygone will not be bygone. It will come and haunt you. Let sleeping dogs lie. I always tell people, those dogs, they will sleep. But one day, they will wake up. Sleeping dogs are not dead dogs. Sleeping dogs will, so that it can, your wound can breathe and have space to heal. Okay, so talk to somebody about it. Talk to somebody about it. First, even confront it as don't be afraid to confront the emotion that you are feeling. But you can talk to somebody about it, and it will Of course, not just any random person. Talk to somebody. I always advise people to talk to somebody who professionally handles these things, somebody who has been trained to handle these things. Because you can talk to somebody who really means well, and they're like, in fact, we need to get back at this person. We need to do this because they care for you. Okay, so talk to the right people. Talk to mentors. Talk to people that care about you, but yet are skilled enough. They have the right capacity to handle. So talk, open it up. Then grieve. Amen. Grieve. Many of you, you too like to form you are strong. I'm a strong man, I'm a strong girl, I'm a strong man. Man no they cry, woman no they cry. You just go, you use anger, delete all the pictures, do everything. No, no, no. Take it easy on yourself. It's okay to grieve. It's okay to grieve um over something lost. It's okay to it's okay to mourn something that is going wrong. You can cry about it, you can confront the emotions, then of course talk to somebody about it, and it helps you to come out of it. Sorry, I want to be sure I'm getting this question right. Are we talking about how to get out of a toxic relationship, or we're talking about how to heal from after a traumatic experience?
Yeah, healing, basically. We're talking about how to heal.
Okay, that means I'm on track. It just dawned on me that
Yeah.
what if talking about something else? Okay, so um that you open it up, you grieve over it, and then you start a process of taking responsibility for the things that happened, as in for your own role in that. Responsible for somebody else's action. You are not responsible for other people's action, but you are responsible for your own choices, for your own action. Nobody makes you do things. You decide to do it. It may be influenced by somebody else's action, but at the end of the day, it is your decision to stay. It's your decision to do things. It's your decision to carry your 500K that you have saved, your life saved, that person's suggestion. Do you understand? So you start to take responsibility for your action. One of the responsibility I took on myself after that experience was that I said it earlier. I opened, and then I did not seek counsel. I'm the kind of person that my safe space is in counseling. The Bible says, of course, in the multitude of counselors there is safety. That was King Solomon writing. Multitude of counsel of their safety. So that's counseling. I did not seek counsel at all. In my mind, I knew in my mind that the people I will tell this about this guy may not accept him because of the way he used to do like this, but I will just, I'll just wing it. Maybe I can make it work. Maybe he will change before that time. So that was a very foolish thing to do, of course. And then many other things I noticed that I was doing and enabling him. So you can do certain things to enable the person. So that process of taking responsibility for your actions reduces the level of anger that you wield towards the person. It reduces, now you're taking responsibility not from a place of guilt and this burden of guilt. No, you are taking responsibility from the place of healing, from the place of, okay, I want to know what really happened. You are now doing proper evaluation. I'm not saying you should not start sulking, oh, it's all my fault. No, 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 no. It's okay to make a mistake. You have the right as a human being to make mistakes and to do things that are not right. But you don't have a right to stay in those things and live in them. Okay, so now that you are out of it, you heal by taking responsibility for you have reduced the level. Now know that, oh, it takes two to tango. So if this and this relationship went this way, I could have actually stopped it, or I could have done this or done this better, and that and that and that. So you're not having all of that emotion towards the person. You have shared it. That one, you have solved a particular issue. Then you now start the process doing what they know how to do. That is the level of knowledge they have. If they know, you make that excuse for them in your mind, and then you. But one very biting my tongue. You know that kind of like, Father Lord, ooh, like you
Oh
will
my
tell yourself to
gosh.
breathe, taking deep breaths, like, ooh, okay, okay, Lord, don't allow this man to destroy himself and all that. Like, you almost destroyed me. Oh, okay, that's not a prayer. Is the bulk of negative emotions that you are accumulating towards that person. That's what's causing the wound. That's what's inflicting wound. And I hope you know that when you begin to stack up negative emotions, it does not just affect you in your relationship or psychology, it affects your physical health. You start experiencing a lot, in fact, a wide range. You can Google it, you can do a research on it, you'll see statistics of how that these unresolved traumas and negative finally actually leverage, begin to relearn things about yourself is going left. So when the trauma is begin it's things are in negativity. It's that same process you now take yourself through. Expose yourself to healthy environments, healthy friends, healthy relationships, healthy by relationship I don't mean romantic. Get actual good friends, family, and that's great support system. A healthy community. For instance, the heart to heart community is a very safe space to be in. You have a lot of there are other communities like that. Get yourself involved in communities where you can have light about relationship, where you can relearn the things that you have known before, or you can unlearn negativity and begin to learn what is right. You start unlearning the lie and learning the truth. Then the final step is for you to take action. Okay, take action. Begin to take steps to healing. Like, take steps. Start working out. Oh, working out is a great way. I forgot to say that. Like, working out is a great way to heal emotionally. What happens when you're working out? You are physically expelling negative emotion. Workout has a way of boosting your self-esteem. It has a way of, you can do home workouts. Although the people that want to terminate, I'm going to register in gym, do home workouts, get apps. There are different apps. There are stuff on YouTube you can use. Work out with good sounds, meditative sounds, and all of that. Talk to yourself. Take action. Do something. Turn your, how do they say it? Turn your lemons into lemonade. No, how they say,
Okay, yeah. They know the saying when life gives you lemons, you make lemonade. Yeah. So I think that's it. But that was very insightful. Thank you so much for that. Yeah. So
how do you prepare? How do you a healthy relationship? First and foremost, like we've talked about, go through the process of healing. Go Be careful. That's how I would say it. Be careful. Don't make the same mistakes over and over again. Don't get into the same cycle. Relationships that have any behaviors that enable that, and patterns in your own life that enabled trauma. It will help you, first of all, stay away from anything that they call trauma. Yes. And stop being a lover of drama. Some of you like drama too much. You like drama too much. You enjoy drama. Like, we just want to see action. We want to see action. So if this person is not charismatic, and this person is supposed to get some action now. You want to marry a pastoral cultist. Like, no, the blend of both. Just like this you like a religious body. And there's not that combination of drama and sanity. You like drama, stop looking for drama. One of the in one of my trainings, I said that the test for a healthy relationship is yes, the test for a healthy relationship is when you have more, the drama is more than the sanity. The drama is an unhealthy relationship. The drama is more than the peace. Like if you feel like if you have done quarrel in 1 week, you are something is missing. Like just spice suppose dey quarrel dey spice relationship. No, it does not. So stop looking for drama. I said earlier, look for the signs. Search. Be careful in how you are picking, um, in how you are picking your partner. Be careful. Be careful. I noticed something about me. I was always looking for somebody charismatic. I liked I like that when you enter a room, hey, you are reeking of manly presence. Like you are very charismatic. You are, and many ladies, if you know, if you say the truth, that's what you're looking for too. And then you just want that when the man comes in, that thing is it can lead you into toxic spaces because charisma is something that can be learned. So you see toxic people learning how to be charismatic things. You are looking for things. You are looking for somebody to complete you. You're looking for somebody to be your knight and shining armor to save you from the distresses of your upbringing. No, you are not healing. You are not healing. You are not making effort to heal. Do you understand? So I don't know how
Yeah.
my video went. Sorry, I didn't know my video had gone off. So just learn to live healthily and then get into healthy spaces more often. Have healthy platonic relationships. When you people don't know that a romantic relationship starts from a healthy platonic relationship. If you cannot be friends with somebody, like if you cannot enjoy friendship with somebody, you have no business being in a relationship with that person. I said it. You have no business. So learn how to have healthy platonic relationships. Have those be whole yourself, be whole. Those are the ways to prepare for a healthy relationship. I hope I have answered it.
Yeah, you did. You more than answered the question. You sealed the deal. Thank you so much for that. Like that was amazing. That was enlightening. And I learned a lot from all that. Though I have a question I want to ask, well, I'll hold it in for now till, so when I'm ready to drop it. Anyways, thank you so much. I think that concludes all our questions for tonight. If anybody has any questions to ask, please you can drop it in the chat. You can send in your questions, and we'll definitely relate to our speaker for tonight. So, any questions from anyone? Okay, so while they send in their question, yeah, let me drop mine now. So, I hope you can hear me. I hope I'm audible.
Yes, very well.
Okay, so now let's say for instance, you've healed, you've dealt with everything that you're dealing with or all the traumas that you've experienced, and then you come to the conclusion that, you know what, I think I would like to journey the
Know about running free.
you've been able to take key points that would help you, moving further, moving on from here. So that will be all for tonight. Have a great night and looking forward to an opportunity like this again. Yes. This 1 hour was too short. We need more hours. We need like 3 hours with you for more
Okay.
impactation. All right. Thank you
Okay.
so much. Yeah. Have a very wonderful night.